Okay, I think we're at the top of the hour. So, welcome. We are Redox Nurse Talk. We both are RNs. I'm Doria Stewart from Atlanta, Georgia, and my wonderful partner is Cindy Reed out of Nashville, Tennessee. And we are honored to be partnered with a global research cellular health company called ASEA. So, we created this platform for people to be educated on a new cellular health technology called Redox signaling molecules and for you to hear testimonies on how this is impacting people's lives. So we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening. You are in for a treat, I'm going to say. So what you're about to hear is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure any medical health condition. So each week we have the pleasure and honor to host a guest that has been impacted by this technology personally and professionally. And so tonight we have Dean Jennings, and Cindy will be interviewing him after our video. So every week we choose a video that we feel like, kind of responds to, what we're going to be talking about. So first we want to share the video called Is ASEA Redox Just Salt Water? By David Silverman, who is a podiatrist and also sits on our medical professional board with ASEA. Even though it's about 14 minutes, it's well worth our time. So Cindy, go ahead and roll it.
Okay, let me share my screen, and welcome again, everyone. And we just hope you have an open mind listening to Dean's story. And let's get started with this. Take off some of these extra things. There we go.
Hi, my name is Dr. David Silverman. I am a retired board-certified foot surgeon. I'm 64 years old, and I feel like I'm 30 because of what we're going to talk about here. But I sit on the medical professionals board of a company called ASEA that has a breakthrough product that you are probably investigating right now for your own reasons. You either have a health issue yourself, or you love somebody that does, you want to see if it can help them, or you just want to look younger because it has a really remarkable anti-aging, age-fighting benefit for the skin and hair and nails, or athletic performance enhancement, or you just want to stay well, or you're looking at the opportunity. But it all hinges, all of it hinges upon if this is real or not. And I've been doing this for a long time, 13 years. And I can tell you that one of the most common questions we hear is, well, I read online it's just salt water. Also here, why don't we know about it as well? We'll talk about both here. The point of this video is so that you can see and understand why it's made from salt water, but it isn't salt water anymore. Now, common sense would tell you that a company that's been around at this point since 2009, and at this point in 2024 has done 1.3 billion in sales and is in 34 countries, shipped all over the world, that you can't fool people with something that's just salt and water for that long. Common sense, right? But there are ways to validate it also, and I'm going to show you that. Now, I'm going to tell you there is a drink version of this. You drink this oral, and this is a topical version called Renew 28. It's the same thing, but this is cellular health from the outside in. This is cellular health from the inside out. So let me show you about the salt water, why it's made from salt water. So I'm going to share my screen. First of all, that's my dad and my brother with almost 2 years, a year and a half ago. My dad is the reason I looked at this initially 13 years ago, and my friend brought this to me. It sounded too good to be true, but my dad was really ill, so I took the time to look at it, and thank God that I did. Again, whatever your reason for looking at it, just take it seriously, but I'm just going to address the whole salt water thing. So the company sends the product out to third-party labs, to universities do studies, double-blind studies. There's all this validation. If you go to gettingyounger.com, and click deeper research, deeper science and research, you'll find everything, okay? But let's talk about this. Why is it made from salt and water? When you look at the label, it says the ingredients in ASEA is sodium, chloride, and water. Okay, why is that? Because what's in this bottle is in you. Your cells make this now, but you made more of it when you were younger. And you see what happens to us as we age. We slow down. We don't heal as quickly from injuries. We get more conditions. You don't see a lot of joint problems and eye pressure problems and hormone problems in younger people. As we get older, we develop these things. Well, it corresponds to us producing less and less of this. So redox signaling molecules are in us. Our body makes it from saline. You're going to see why. But when I was a child, I produced a lot. And as soon as I went through puberty, I produced less. 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. 63, I'm making this much right now, whether I drink this or not. But I raised my levels up to what they were when I was younger by drinking this because it's identical to what's in me. And what it does is it enhances signaling. I'm not going to go through everything that this does. If you go to gettingyoungerclub.com, you'll see, I think it's number 3 and 4, I think it is. What are redox molecules and how do they work? Go there, you'll get more explanation. Okay, so why does the company make this product from water and sodium chloride? And understand that it's patented, there's intellectual property on this, trade secrets, but why does it say that on the label? Because remember, it's in you already. Our cells are filled with salt water. Your cells are filled with salt water. If you know that, if you're a medical person, you go, of course they are. But if you're not, really? Yeah. When you cry, what does it taste like? Salty. When you sweat, what does it taste like? Salty. When you go to the hospital and you get an IV, do they give you water in that IV? No, they give you something with sodium chloride because they're rehydrating you. This pink ovule is a cell, represents a cell, and it's filled with saline. That's why they give you sodium chloride, a saline solution in an IV, right? Well, inside your cell floats the mitochondria, where these little redox molecules are created. Now, people know the mitochondria as being the power plant of the cell because that's where we convert our foods into the molecule we burn for fuel called adenosine triphosphate, ATP. But during the production of ATP, we also produce these little tiny molecules called reductants and oxidants. And that's where the term redox comes from. Remember, our mitochondria decline at puberty, so we produce less ATP. Kids have unending energy, and our energy starts to decrease. We're stronger and faster at 20, but we don't have that unending energy that we have as children. And we certainly don't heal as quickly from the same injury at 20 that we did at 10. And we heal slower at 30 than we did at 20, and 50 slower than we did at 30. Okay, so you can see that the mitochondria floats in saline, all right? So is a sea of salt water? No, but it was salt water. So here, saline, salt water, is sodium chloride and H2O, water. It's 2 molecules. Well, inside your mitochondria, they get split apart and separated into the separate ions. So it's no longer sodium chloride, it's sodium and chloride. It's no longer H2O, it's hydrogen and oxygen. And now those can be used as building blocks to create completely different molecules that are called redox signaling molecules.
I like that.
So an example would be a Lego set. Everybody's played Lego, right? You take all the pieces, you put together, you make a house. Sits on the table. It's like, oh, that looks nice. After a couple of days, you get tired of it. You take it apart, and then you build a car. You use the same building blocks to make a completely different structure. It's the same thing here. An example. What are some redox molecules? Let's just do H2O2. See it at the bottom there? H2O2. 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. That is a redox molecule. It's not water, is it? Because water is H2O. This is H2O2. In fact, you probably have a bottle of that in your house, in a brown bottle. And when you cut yourself outside, you have an injury, it's dirty, you pour it on there and it bubbles up. What is it? It's hydrogen peroxide. Did you know that's a redox molecule? Did you know your body makes hydrogen peroxide right now? How do you think it got there? Did you drink your hydrogen peroxide in your house? I hope you didn't do that, but that's not how it got there. What happened was your body took the building blocks, 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens, and made a completely different molecule. That's not water, right? So your body can make many different redox molecules. So another way to explain this is, let's play a game. I'm going to put a word on the screen, and I want you to look at it. There's the word there, T-H-E-R-E. Do you see any other words that you can make from that word? Do you see other words in that word? Some of you saw the word or see the word he, her, thee. Does the meaning of the word he have anything to do with the meaning of the original word there? Absolutely not. What you did was you took the building blocks, the letters, and you created words with completely different meanings. This is exactly what your body does. It's taking the building blocks and making molecules that are completely different molecules. So again, in this short video, I hope I clarified for you that why this has to be made from salt water, because it's identical to what's in you. That also is what makes it so safe compared to pharmaceuticals, right? Pharmaceuticals, you could be allergic to a pharmaceutical, it could interact with another pharmaceutical, and pharmaceuticals are toxic. Medicines are toxic. They're not supposed to be in your body. If they could be in your body, you wouldn't have dosages, right? But if you have a headache, you take 2 Tylenol, right? If you had a really bad headache, you say, oh, this is a bad one, I'm going to take 10 or 20. No, because it'll kill you. There's no toxicity to this. You can't be allergic to it. It doesn't interfere with medicines. It's in you. And there's no toxicity. If you drink too much of it, you don't overdose. Your body turns the excess back into saline. And by the way, for people that say, oh, I can't take this, I have high blood pressure, it's salt, it has salt and water, there's very little sodium in it. The main components are hydrogen and oxygen, but the sodium and chloride are critical to be in here. But there's more sodium in a glass of milk than there is in 4 ounces of this. A slice of bread has more sodium than 4 ounces of this. Now, I'm going to show you how to prove to yourself that it's not salt water very quickly, okay? And this is something with a product that's as safe as water, comes with a money-back guarantee. It's pretty easy to do this. Anybody that wants to validate it can validate it like that. The liquid can take 1 to 90 days for you to see changes in your body. You know, if you have sleeping problems, breathing problems, whatever, just baseline everything. I shot a video called howtouseredox.com. Howtouseredox.com. You see how to use the product. But give this 90 days, you'll see that. But you'll also see in that video the gel. Now, the gel is the drink in a gel form. They concentrate it. It's called Renew 28. It's clear. There's no smell. There's no greasiness. I'm putting it on my face. I'm putting it on my eyelids. Why am I doing that? Because it is marketed as a cosmetic product, not a makeup product, but it makes your skin younger. You take pictures at the beginning of the month, take pictures every week, take close, you'll see what happens to wrinkles. It's amazing. Cellulite too. But there's a way for you to validate, salt water wouldn't do that, but there's a way for you to validate that this is real very quickly, and it doesn't take a month. It takes 10 minutes. And here's what you do. It's not for wrinkles. It's for a problem that a lot of people have. Not everybody. You might have it to some degree. Some have it a little bit. Some have it terribly. Some are can't even walk, right? And it's things that hurt, right? It could be your carpal tunnel area. It could be your finger joints. It could be your back, your neck, a menstrual cramp, your knee, anything. Okay. This is really cool. I'm smiling because I know what you'll see. You find 10 people that are hurting and do your own little test. And anybody that ever says that it's salt water to you, you'll say, you are wrong. Not because of the studies, not because the company's so old, been around for so long, for 15 years, they've done $1 billion in sales, not because all of that, but because you will have seen something unbelievable happen. And here it is. Find 10 people who are hurting and ask them for 10 minutes. They're going to rate their discomfort level on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being horrible, 1 being a little bit. You get a baseline on that, and then you're going to ask them again in 10 minutes. So what do? They shake up the gel, and they take it, and they put it on the area that hurts. So if the neck is a 3, they put it on the neck like this. Just enough so it's a little bit wet. So in about a minute, it's going to dry. And then you do it again the second time, and then it dries. And you do it again the third time. That's it. 3 times in the first 5 minutes. Put it on 3 times in the first 5 minutes, and in the total of 10 minutes, ask those 10 people how they feel. Watch how many of them say this. How did it do that? How did it do that? How did it do that? Watch the excitement in their face. You watch carefully how many say that. We can't make medical claims about this. This is not a medical product. This is a breakthrough product. Watch the Genesis video at gettingyoungerclub.com, and you'll see how this company started and how they didn't sell out to a pharmaceutical company. But But you watch the expression on 9 of the 10 people. It might be 20 out of 20, but I'll just say 9 out of 10. I'm not saying they're going to go from a 10 to a 0, although they very well might, and they can be open-minded or closed-minded. It doesn't really make any difference. They have to be honest. I'm saying how many of them say, how did it do that? There's a dramatic change here. And you'll know a few things. One, it's not salt water. Two, redox is real. And if you're not seeing results on this quickly, you will stick with it for 90 days, because that's really what you should do, is be on it for 90 days. And you will have had your validation that it's real here. Third, you'll realize that you know about something before everybody else. And if you're opportunistic, if you are, you realize you know about something before everybody else, because you'll also realize that if you looked at your cell phone and you looked at all the contacts you have in there, if they did what you just did on 10 people and they saw 9 people say that, it's very easy for anybody to validate it. If it was that easy for you to validate it that it's real, it'll be easy for anybody to validate it. So when people, the other question I mentioned before is people say, oh, if it's this good, why don't we know about it? And they say it before they've seen it work, they say that. If it works this way, if it's that great, why don't we know about it, right? Well, when they put the gel on 10 people, after they've done that, then they say, God, why doesn't anybody know about this? And that's where the opportunity side of it is. And this video is not about the opportunity. This is just to show you that it's not salt water, because this product is a breakthrough. And this version of it is what opens people's minds up. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you use it. When next time somebody says to you, oh, it's just salt water, very easy for you to validate it. Very easy for them to validate it. Thank you.
Just realized I was muted. Sorry about that. Always do that. I love David Silverman's video, and there's so many out there. And there are a couple of other websites you could go and check out this technology. One is called realredoxresults.com, and the password is Redox. And there are 150 different testimonials, and you can search the categories on the left side and look at what you may potentially be dealing with and find a testimonial that might match. Also, there's another one called discoverredox.com, where you can find out a little bit more about the science. There are a couple of other testimonials on there as well, and the products and the company. I mean, it has everything you'd want in that one website. So this is an amazing night tonight. We are very honored to have our special guest, and I hope you brought your Kleenex, because Dean Jennings has had a life-changing event, and people may question this and may not think this is real, but he can tell you from experience this is. And again, just have an open mind, and we're going to talk some more about it and just validate whatever your questions are. But let's listen to Dean's story. Dean is 65 years old. He's from Fredericksburg, Virginia. His grandfather was Cherokee. His father was a home builder, and Dean was a carpenter who ended up as the head of an architectural design for a chip manufacturing company. And Dean, I'm going to stop there because the rest of it is where you pick up, but I'm going to start you off with, so a lot of people don't go to their high school reunions after a certain time. I'll admit I've only gone to one of mine, and that was the 10-year, but how did going to, and I think it was your 45th reunion, is that correct?
Yes, it
How,
was my 40.
how did that change your life?
Wow. Well, that's all part of the story, but that's actually where I met an old friend, Carrie Hester Caldwell, and it was, I guess it was fate. And like I say, at that point, I was broken, y'all. Didn't have much in the way of hopefulness, and like I say, she was it's an old friend. Hadn't seen her in 45 years, and she was actually the one that told me about Redox, and literally, it changed my life. So, yeah.
So, Dave, I'm going to let you just kind of go on with your story. So, what was going on with you, and what did you tell Carrie that night?
Oh Lord, y'all. Well, like she said, I was I was head of an architectural firm at a chip manufacturing facility when we were doing a water treatment facility where they put all the nasty chemicals and hopefully make them good and put them back into the creek. But 14 of us got contaminated with a biotoxin. As of 22, there was only 4 of us still alive. I recently tried to reach out, and unfortunately, I'm the last man standing. All of us got something. I contracted a rare skin ailment that affects the small blood vessels, causes the small blood vessels underneath my skin to burst, and then it's an open sore, then it gets infected. Guys, the pain was horrendous. And unfortunately, in a small amount of cases, it transfers from the outside to the inside. So rather than the small blood vessels underneath your skin bursting, it was the small blood vessels around my organs, i.e. my heart, my liver, my kidneys, my pancreas. And now, if y'all have ever worked out in the garden and got a blood blister and then it pops and then the skin falls off and that raw meat underneath of there that is so tender, it makes you want to scream if you touch it. Imagine having hundreds of those on your body. Hundreds. The pain was horrendous. But like I say, when it transferred from the outside to the inside, imagine that happening on the inside. Then the infection was inside, and it was basically killing me from the inside out. Well, the scar tissue caused my body to secrete excess creatine, which collapsed the arteries in my heart, causing me to have a massive heart attack. Well, considering my cardiologist had never seen anybody with heart issues and vascular issues, he decided to follow me for a year just to see my progress. So what he did was did a baseline CAT scan to see where I was. And a year later, when he was doing the outtake interview, did another CAT scan to see where I was. And when he looked at the results, he looked at me and he goes, "Oh my, do you have your affairs in order?" And I laughed and looked at him and said, "No." "Well, what?" And he looked at me, he says, "Well, your scar tissue has more than doubled in a year." And he says, "I don't give you 6 months to live. As a matter of fact, I'm really not sure why you're alive now." So basically, he sent me home to die, y'all. And I went home and I yelled and I screamed and I cried. Then I yelled and screamed and cried some more and realized that, I didn't have that much longer to live. And by this time, y'all, I was a mess. Half of my body was just open sores. The infection was everywhere. The pain never stopped. I could never sleep at night. Every time I would change my clothes, they would stick to the tops of the sores. Then it'd rip the top off again. Then it would bleed again. Then it would get infected again. It never ended, y'all. It never ended. So I got on my knees and I asked the Lord to either take my pain or call me home. Because I didn't want to live anymore, y'all. Not like that. And it only took him 2 days, 2 days to answer my prayer. 2 days. Because 2 days later was my 45th reunion. And I wasn't going to go. I hadn't been to the first 44. Why would I go to number 45? But my oldest friend, Don Albert, called and says, you're going to go. And I said, no, I'm not. I ain't going. He goes, you're going if I have to drag you, because it's probably the last time you'll see these people, and you're at least going to go say goodbye. And I said, no, I ain't. I ain't going. Well, I'm sitting up at the reunion feeling sorry for myself. And I meet Carrie Hester Caldwell. Haven't seen her in 45 years. Well, one thing led to another, and how you doing? And well, honey, you know, it ain't good. I probably got less than 4 months to live, and this will probably be the last time you see me. Well, she says, well, maybe not. She says, I just learned about this amazing product called Redox cell signaling molecules, and I think it'll help you. Y'all, I laughed in her face. I really did. I laughed straight in her face. I said, look, honey, I appreciate it, but I've been to some of the best doctors in the country, arguably some of the best doctors in the world. I've been to UVA, VCU, MCV, NIH, John Hopkins, Mayo Clinic. I've been to all the alphabet soup people. I gave them all a year of my life and my entire life savings, chasing the next best thing from Big Pharma that was supposed to change my life, y'all. And all it did was make me worse. So I appreciate it, but it's in the Lord's hands now. And she looked straight at me and says, well, you already got 1 foot in the grave. What do you got to lose? And and she was right, y'all. I mean, what did I have to lose? So I went to her house the next day, and she had some. She gave me a case, and she said, go home and start drinking it. Well, started with 2 ounces twice a day for a week. Then I went to 4 ounces twice a day for a week. And the third week, which was the first week of November 22, I went to 8 ounces twice a day, or 16 ounces a day. And literally in 4 months, the same time that my doctor said that that's all I had left, I literally went from planning my funeral to planning my future. Let me say that one more time, y'all. I went from funeral to future in about 4 months, because in that same 4 months, that's all I had left. Ooh. My pain went away. My open sores went away. My infection was gone. For the first time in over a decade, I could finally sleep at night. It changed my life, y'all. It changed my life. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It is the most amazing product on the face of this planet. Thank you.
Dean, that's amazing story, and I know that's life-changing for you. My question, and you did what everybody else would do. You would have thanked her and said, you know, appreciate it. You've been through all the traditional, no one else could help you. How would you ever think this would? So those were your thoughts when she told you about that, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. And
when you go ahead.
well, you see, when she gave me that case, I said, well, I asked if it's going to help. She says, yeah, it's going to. You just need to drink it and do what I tell you. And I said, well, how much is it? And she says, well, it's $150 a case. And I looked at her and I said, well, I can't afford that. And she looked at me and she goes, don't worry about it. We'll figure that out. And I started it. And when I knew that it was going to do good, I started worrying about how I was going to buy more, And one day I looked out on my doorstep and there's cases of Redox sitting on my doorstep, 3 foot tall. And I called her and I said, Carrie, what did you do? And she says, I bought you your Redox. She put it on her credit card, y'all. She saved my life. Who does that? Wait a minute. Who does that? Family. Because I'm going to tell you, people that I've met through a sea are some of the most amazing people that I've ever met. And I want to tell you about another one. Melanie Ryan, our fearless leader. She works tirelessly for us. It's always about us. It's never about her. How can I help you? Don't worry about me. I'm fine. How can I help you? She's opened up my eyes and my heart to so many amazing things. When I stumble, she catches me. When I fall, she picks me up and she tells me it's going to be okay. Who does that? Family. I will say that the people that I have met, and these are only two, I have a core group of 10 people that I see every week and talk to that care about me more than my own family. But the many people that I have met, the amazing people that I've met through ASEA, y'all, this is an amazing group of people. They really care about you. They really do.
Dean, you really are addressing the heart of the company, and that's huge. So with this, when you had your amazing results, so how are you paying this forward? How are you sharing it with people, and what results are you getting when you share this with people?
Well, like I said, when I asked the Lord to either take my pain or call me home, I also told him that if he did, I'd walk his path for the rest of my days and I'd help as many people as I could along the way. Well, he did his part, y'all. He not only took my pain, but he replaced it with some amazing people. And I feel so blessed. And like I say, the rest of my days, I'm going to share this. I'm going to shout it from the mountaintops until every person on the planet knows that redox cell signaling molecules exists, and it's absolutely the most amazing product on the face of the planet.
So Dean, when you share this, what do people say when they hear your story? Are they believing or are they skeptical?
Well, it depends. I get mixed results. My family see the amazing change, but they seem to be some of the hardest people to get to believe it. Now I could share it to a total stranger, show them some pictures and share my journey, and they're just amazed and want to be a part of it. So um it, it's a mixed bag. But I think at the beginning I really didn't know how to share as well, because the emotion was just so overwhelming. And but I'm getting better at it. But I mean, every time I share, it hurts because all the pain and the despair and the hopelessness comes rushing back. But every time I do share, it gets a little easier, and maybe one day it won't hurt anymore. But
Well, that's part of your healing process as well.
yeah, but um, if if I reach people that are having, let's say, skin issues, it's absolutely amazing, because unless you've dealt with something like that, that is just, it's debilitating and it consumes your life. And it's the only thing you can think about 24/7. When I reach out to people like that and they realize that there actually is hope, it makes them cry just like me. It's amazing. And not only that, but it makes me feel so good to know that not only did the Lord bless me with this amazing product, because let's face it, y'all, none of this can happen without the Lord. It didn't go, it too many stars and moons had to align up for all this to happen. There's only one person who can make that. So I thank him every day and ask him that I wanted today just to help one person. That's what I want to do every day. But tonight, I want to help a whole lot more. I hope that everyone on this call realizes that if you're suffering, that if you're hopeless, that if you've got something, or some or family member has something that they're struggling with, I want you to know that there's hope. And that hope comes in a blue bottle. And it's called Redox Cell Signaling Molecules. Most amazing product, y'all. Most amazing product.
And something I forgot to say before we started, we do have the chat opened up. If someone has questions and you want to put those in the chat, Dean can answer those. But Carrie Caldwell is on, and I'd love to have Carrie come on and just give a little, tell us a little bit about how, whatever she wants to add to this.
Hi, yes, thank you for letting me join. Yeah, I'm a generous
There
person,
are
but
you,
I'm
girl.
not that generous, Dean. Thank you so much for all the props. But we bartered him to pay for that. He actually felt well enough to lay my entire upstairs flooring a little bit at a time, because he was, just getting back to being able to have a functional life and have the energy and not worry about having any relapses. But we were concerned about relapses with him and wanted to have him go slowly. And so a little bit of time he floored the entire upstairs of my house. So he paid for his redox, you guys, but he did it through labor because he felt like doing it. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing that God did to bring all that. Let me put myself on the video to bring all that together, because my husband and I had just cleared up our credit and refinanced our house so that we had the money, available on our credit to be able to do it, or we wouldn't have been able to do it. So God was working. It was just a matter of us, taking the olive branch and using it. And so he paid for his redox, you guys. I didn't, I know we're not supposed to, it's not a good idea to give it away. So we did not give it away. He definitely worked his butt off, laying my entire upstairs flooring. So we helped him, but he did most of the work.
Okay.
So that's mostly what I wanted to add. But thank you for all the props, Dean. So, and my husband had to be on board too. He was not on board with Redox really at all until he saw Dean's results. So it was a beautiful thing for us as well, because I had, investigated a lot of other network marketing companies and not really been very successful because we didn't have the right vehicle. And I was never interested in really building anything like this before, because I had never had this experience with having it have such an amazing impact on somebody's life like this. For Dean to have the whole trajectory of his life go a different direction. I mean, to be that vessel, to have God use me for that, it's a beautiful thing. And that's what keeps me going every day to continue to share it, is to find more people that need it like Dean, and more people to find people that need it like Dean. So more people that want to help find people that need it like Dean. So that's really all I wanted to add, but thank you for letting me jump in.
Thank you, Carrie. We appreciate that. And Doria, do you have any questions? I don't have any more. And then when we finish, we'll go through the questions in the chat if you want to, Doria.
Yeah, I just have a few comments. I mean, what an awesome testimony. I mean, it's just amazing. I can't imagine, what your discomfort was. I mean, because I can, just like you just said, you could get like a little sore or something that gets open to the air. It's just so I mean, that is like a 10, and I can't, you're probably were a doubled 10 or triple 10, the discomfort you were feeling. But, you had this scar tissue that was built up in your vessels. And, we've learned through some of our medical professionals that are on our board that scar tissue we think that's dying tissue, but it is living cells. So that when you were taking the redox signaling molecules, which is about cellular communication, it was talking to those cells, that were the scar tissue that was built up in those vessels. And, and it was able to, I don't know what the word would be, eradicated or whatever, but, it's just miraculous. I'm just so thankful that Carrie had the boldness and the courage just to be, to speak to you, very, not abruptly, but assertive, to say, this is something you should, try. And I know, I'm so thankful that you, heard from the Lord and said, okay, I'm going to, do this. But it's a miraculous story. When I first heard it on our team call several months ago, it was like, wow, and it's probably the most, I want to say the words, well, definitely touching, but probably the most miraculous story or testimony that I've heard since I've been with ASEA for 5 years, and just for it to occur just in that short period of time. What I do want to ask you is, after you had this, these changes, what did your doctor say? So here you had planned, they told you go home and, put your affairs in order, and then you have to go back and see them, I'm sure. So what were they saying to you?
Wow. Okay. Well, what happened was after I went home, I went back 2 months later. It was 3 months later, and just did, went in, had him take my blood pressure, look, all that stuff. And the doctor was just absolutely amazed. He goes, "What are you doing?" And I wouldn't tell him. I said, I'm just doing what you told me, doc. I'm doing everything you told me. He goes, "Well, you're progressing extremely well." I said, "Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it." Came back 2 months later, and he's going, "This is absolutely amazing. I can't believe that you've progressed this far. Your heart functions are back almost to 80%, which we didn't expect it to even get to that far. What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm taking redox cell signaling molecules." And he paused, and he didn't say a word. And I could see the wheels turning. And about 10 seconds later, he looked straight at me and he goes, "You know what? If you're going to continue to take that and not take the medication that I prescribed, you're no longer my patient. You need to find another doctor." And I said, "Well, thanks, doc. I'm going." I walked out, and that's the last time I ever talked to my cardiologist. Now, just on that note, just so y'all know, when I started Redox, that doctor, that same big pharma doctor, had me on 9 medications. 2 for blood pressure, 1 for my cholesterol, 1 for my prediabetes, 2 for my heart, and several for anti-rejection drugs, and some to counteract the side effects from the drugs that he was giving me. Now, think about that for a minute, y'all. I was paying him to poison me. But after 4 months on Redox, that same 4 months, went back, I dropped all medications, including my blood pressure had to be cut in half because my blood pressure was so low. When I went back the second time, when he was so amazed, he says, "What are you doing?" Because he told me to stop all blood pressure medication because it was so low, I didn't need anything. So at that point, he was going, "What are you doing?" And when I said Redox, he shut everything down. But in 6 months, y'all, 6 months on Redox, cell signaling molecules, all medications. And that includes, I was always on allergy medication. I was taking Flonase daily, or I couldn't even survive or breathe. I haven't taken so much as an aspirin in over 6 months. Haven't taken allergy medicine in almost a year. I've never been able to do that. I can just breathe in through my nose. This stuff has basically helped my body change in so many ways, y'all. I mean, from my gut health to my memory to how I sleep, my energy level, my flexibility. The list goes on and on. We could talk for 3 hours and I wouldn't be able to tell you all the amazing things that this product has changed in my life in the last year. Literally amazing.
You're a new man. And I know when I talked to you a couple weeks ago, you were out working, you're building something or whatever. You were doing something with your home, being able to do the things that you probably weren't able to do before. And that's exciting. Yeah.
No, it is very exciting. I get to live. Before I just existed, and that wasn't an existence. It was the bed, the bathroom, the doctor's office, or the hospital, or repeat Groundhog Day. That's no existence. And people that are living with chronic pain or issues and just think there's no hope. I mean, I'm just going to live the rest of my life with this walker or this cane or this issue. It doesn't have to be that way, y'all. It doesn't have to be that way. And the answer is just a phone call away, because whoever invited you tonight, whoever told you to get on this call, if you're excited about what you've heard tonight, talk to them. Get on the product, give it 90 days. I promise you, it will change your life. Thank you.
There you go. Well, Cindy and I are both medical professionals, registered nurses. I'm part of the hospital system. Cindy works in hospice, and healthcare has its place. Unfortunately, right now, I think we're dealing more with sick care. So, the doctors, the unfortunate thing with the physicians, they are limited, in some of their knowledge related to, even nutrition. But I think that they are just they listen to other pharmaceutical reps who come to their offices and they tell them a little bit about the medication, and they've not experienced it themselves. And as we know, there's a long list of side effects related to all those things, so that they only know to treat symptoms. And that's really what they were doing with you, as you suffered all these different side effects and the inflammation that you had in your body. So they didn't know what else to do. They're only going by their training, and then, I don't know the ages of our physicians, but I know our younger physicians know about redox biochemistry, or they might have, he might have taken a class, in that. And it's been, like Dr. Maureen Hayes says that, yes, she took a class in redox biochemistry, but like it was only like an hour, so I don't fault them because they don't know, that's the thing. But I'm just thankful that you listened to Carrie, because she came with a direct approach, and you knew that this was and you knew as an answer to prayer. But we just want to share that healthcare has its place. If you break a bone, you want a good doctor, orthopedic, to fix it. You need open heart surgery. You want a good cardiac surgeon to be able to do that. But and again, this is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure anything. It's just if you give the body what it needs, it will heal itself. And it's about the cells communicating with the other cells, so it's just an amazing technology. And thank you so much for being so transparent and honest, and and just really sharing your heart about what you've gone through. Yeah, I appreciate that. So Cindy, can you show the pictures? Can we show those? Are we able to?
I can try to pull that up. There was one more
People can see
question. It
that.
says, when it came to the relief of the extreme pain, how long did it take to decrease the pain, and by how much? And then, is your pain completely gone today?
Discomfort.
Actually, the pain was decreasing almost immediately. The first week was only four ounces a day. I was getting some. The second week was significant. The third week, when I started 16 ounces a day, y'all, I could feel it inside. It felt like there was a nuclear bomb going off and everything just was going everywhere. Actually kind of scared me because I wasn't really sure whether it was fixing me or killing me. And it was scaring me because I didn't really know anything about redox. But 3 days into 16 ounces, this is this third week, my pain level had gone from, I can't, anything over a 10 is wanting to die, but to down to a 4 or a 5, a manageable, I can almost deal with it. And within a month, that had gone down to a 3 and a 4. Within 4 months, it was gone. My pain was completely gone. The sores had gone away. The only thing there were scars. And of course, I was worried that they were going to come back. Is it coming back? Is it coming back? And it never did. So, I mean, I have a very high threshold of pain, but when half your body's an open sore, let's just say it's a 10. And literally in 3 weeks, it went from a 10 to a 5. And 4 weeks, it was almost gone. So you take it for what it's worth. A miracle, a miracle.
Dean, I'm going to try to share my screen and see if I can pull up those pictures that Doria sent me.
Yeah, I know Cindy's trying to do that. So again, I want to emphasize that we know what the pain is a symptom, and we're not really not supposed to share pain because pain is a diagnosis, but the discomfort, but it's signaling the body to let them know that there is something going on, and that's inflammation. So what Dean was experiencing was all this inflammation and all the vessels that were affecting the vessels that in his kidney, like he shared, in his heart, in the small vessels, in his legs, and you're going to see the pictures here in a minute. So it's all related to inflammation, and a lot of the health challenges that people deal with are related to either inflammation or oxidative stress. So it's just the way the molecules, we have lots of studies out there that show that it helps with, inflammation.
Here's some pictures.
There they are.
Can y'all see those?
Yeah. Well, you see that, y'all? That
looks painful.
That's just before it starts to get bad. When the really bad pictures I threw away because it was just too painful to watch. It would make me cry. But that's how my feet started. You see how everything just starts falling off in big hunks, and then it turns raw, and then it gets bloody, and then there's nothing but infections everywhere. Big holes in my head. It was not fun, y'all. Like I say, towards the end, it was just not worth living. Those bring those memories rushing back. And now, you know what? Now that I'm out of pain and that I'm healthy and I'm happy, I've turned into a wuss. Now I hurt myself or I bang myself. I used to cut my finger, put a piece of tape around it and go on back to work. Now I scratch myself or bump myself. It's like, wait a minute. I don't like pain anymore. This is not fun anymore. I'm going for the renewed 28 every time I get a little bump or bruise. But the great thing is, it works, y'all. You don't have to be in discomfort. And I'm sorry, y'all, but you don't have to be in discomfort. Not with this product. This product takes it away. See, it makes me giggle. It's amazing, y'all. It will change your life if you just give it a chance. Trust me.
It will. But Dean, we appreciate this so much tonight. This has been an awesome testimony. And like you said, whoever invited you to this Zoom, get back with them, get your questions answered. And at this point, a lot of people kind of fall into 3 categories. One, you're not interested, but someone's name did pop into your head while you were listening to Dean's testimony. Or maybe you do want to try it and check it out, but you have more questions. So again, get back to the person that invited you. Or third, you're ready to join, whether it's a customer or an associate, you're ready to try the product or share the product. And again, reach out to the person that introduced this to you. This is an amazing technology. There's nothing out there like it. It's native to your body. There's no toxicity. Where else can you get that? Like Dean said, and like Doria said, there is a need for traditional doctors and medication for sure. We're not knocking that. But we just want people to realize there are alternatives out there that could help when traditional medicine is failing. And there's a lot of people going through, like Doria said, sick care now. It's not health care anymore, it's sick care. So thank you again, Dean. And I'm going to talk about our guest for next week is Kathy Painter. And she is a board certified traditional naturopath from California. And she's going to also have a great testimony next Tuesday night. So again, we will upload this to our YouTube channel. It will be on Redox Nurse Talk on YouTube. So you can search it tomorrow. It should be up late tonight or early in the morning. So thanks everyone. Let me stop our recording for the moment.
Thanks again. Y'all are awesome.